Hello, Loggers fans, and welcome into another edition of Meet the Loggers. My name is Nick Ritolotti from the Loggers Radio Network, and today I am joined by Loggers first baseman Tyler Kuresa. Tyler, thank you very much for being on today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, an interesting story, Tyler. Your father, actually born in Samoa, doesn't speak great English, but definitely gets by considering he was born in Samoa. Talk about a little bit about his path to the United States.
You know, he has a very interesting story. He, like you said, he was born and raised in Samoa, and he actually came to the States when he was going to college in Hawaii, and that's actually where he met my mother, in Hawaii. So came to the States, might have returned to Samoa if he didn't meet my mother, but you know, they met in Hawaii, got married. They actually did live in Samoa for a few more years, and then you know, they eventually made their way back to the States, down to California, where I was born.
And from what I understand, you're a second-generation athlete because your father actually played on a national soccer team.
Mm-hmm. He actually played for the Samoan national soccer team and the national Samoan rugby team. He was the captain of the rugby team, actually.
Wow. And you actually played a little soccer as well, from what I understand, all the way through high school?
I loved it. Soccer is an incredible sport and very fun to play. And, you know, I didn't want to limit myself to baseball, but, you know, with the restrictions of football, and I wouldn't be able to play as much baseball. And so soccer kind of became my secondary sport.
And were you as much of a natural at soccer as you are at baseball?
You know, I think I understood the game pretty well. I can anticipate very well in soccer, but I definitely didn't have the physical tools to play soccer like I do with baseball.
And how much do you think playing soccer all the way through high school, how does that translate to the game of baseball? Certain attributes from soccer that benefit you in baseball?
You know, definitely my footwork. My footwork around first base. I'm a tall guy. I'm a pretty big guy, and I think it would have been very easy for me to be, you know, clumsy or unathletic, but so many years playing soccer where you have to be light on your feet, you have to switch directions on a regular basis, and I think that really helped me around the bag, and I think, you know, it's done wonders for my career around first base.
And that career actually, it could have taken off a lot earlier for you professionally. Out of high school, you were an 11th round draft pick by the Minnesota Twins, and a lot of time the decision for guys is, well, are my parents going to make me go to school, or am I going to take the money, and is the money right? But you actually did a lot of research on the Minnesota Twins organization. Tell us a little bit about the amount of research that went into it for you.
Well, I was actually selected in the 11th round and by the Twins, and they actually, you know, they liked me a lot. I think higher than an 11th round pick, but I had some signability issues, so that's why I went that far in the draft. But through the time, from the time I got drafted to the time that I had to sign the signing deadline, I got to meet a lot of people in the Twins organization, and I loved every single one of them. You know, every person that I met from the Twins organization that came to watch me play, came to talk to me, came to my house, whatever it was, I just had a really great feeling from them. And, you know, it's not like that a lot of times with major league organizations. You know, sometimes you can get that cold, it's all about business feeling, but I never got that from the Twins. You know, I always felt like if I was going to sign with them, I was going to become a part of their family, and so I did love that organization. I did do my homework on the people of the organization.
And what ultimately led your decision to pass up the professional contract and go to school?
You know, it was a hard one because of, you know, the personnel with the Twins, but in the end, I kind of just decided that I probably wasn't ready for that yet. You know, you only get one professional career, and I decided at 17 that I didn't think I was physically or mentally ready to take that on, and you know, I'm glad I didn't, because I'm a different player now. You know, I've grown up, I've matured, and I hope that I go back to Minnesota. I really do. If that is my path. I mean, obviously, I'd be very happy to go with any other organization, but I think they're gonna find that I have matured a lot in these last 3 years. So.
And over the course of the past 3 years, you started out at Oregon. Things didn't quite work out there. You're now at the UC Santa Barbara. Mm-hmm. Haven't played yet because you were a transfer, so you actually had to sit out this spring. But what are your impressions so far of the Gauchos?
Well, first of all, the weather in Santa Barbara is unbeatable. You know,
Better than this?
It's a little bit warm here. I love Wisconsin, but you know, the school down there is incredible. The education that I'm getting is unreal, and I guess what I like the most is what Checketts is doing with that program. You know, Coach Checketts, Andrew Checketts, was the assistant coach at Oregon. I followed him down to Santa Barbara, and you know, I have so much faith in what he's going to be able to do with that program in the next coming years. You know, and that faith is what actually brought me to Santa Barbara, and I'm really glad that I made that decision because I think he's going to do really great things, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Now, another part of your path is arriving here with the Loggers in the Northwoods League. What's your impression on the atmosphere in the Northwoods League? And by that I mean, news cameras here almost every single night, doing interviews such as this, fans coming out on the field asking for autographs. I mean, it really feels like at times you guys are rock stars here.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that?
It's very professional. You know, it's a professional atmosphere for a lot of college guys who are hoping to be professionals. The way I look at it is I'm incredibly honored to get this opportunity and to play in front of 3,000 fans tonight, especially the fans that we get here at Copeland Park. They're incredible, and I'm so honored at the opportunity to come here and play like a professional before I actually have to go out and do it for real. You know, it's kind of like a good little practice, and it's a pleasure for all of us. We're all so grateful to be here and to have this opportunity.
Now, this group of guys is actually going to go down in the history books. Not for what you may think. You guys set the record for consecutive wins this season. You have a chance to win a championship maybe in the second half. But this team has been around for 10 years. You guys created a whole new marketing ploy with the Copeland Crazy tagline. They busted out T-shirts already.
Yeah,
they're hot and ready to sell. Well, talk about that. The fact that this group of guys right here is going to set the trend for a whole new marketing ploy for this organization.
I think if anyone came out and hung out with this group of guys for one day, I think anybody would have a blast. You know, we have such a great chemistry, and every single one of these guys on this team is my friend, and I haven't been on a whole lot of teams in my life where I can say that. You know, and we all just get along so well. We all get each other's sense of humor, and we all have a really good feel for each other. And I think, what you said about the Copeland Crazies and stuff, I think that is a strong indication of this team's personality and how much we enjoy the fans and we love the fans, and we wanted to show that, and that's kind of where that derived from.
Yeah, the whole team seems to just kind of buy into everything that's going on here, and I think the fans see that too and really appreciate it. Tyler, your family actually got a chance to come and visit you on a couple road trips ago in Mequon, just outside of Milwaukee. Mid-season, probably dragging along. How big of a boost was it to get some home cooking and see some family members?
Well, my brother and his wife and daughter live in Chicago. He's a lawyer in Chicago, so he was able to make the short trip out to Lakeshore to come and watch me play a few games. And like you said, it was an energy boost. It's nice. I'm with my family here every night, the Loggers, and but it's a little bit different, and especially my brother, because I don't get to see him a whole lot throughout the year. He's incredibly busy. I'm busy. And so there are very few times when our schedules kind of line up and we get to see each other. So it's just another thing that I'm very grateful for of this, this team and this opportunity to be out here, because, if I didn't come out and play for the Loggers, would I see my brother this summer? Probably not. You know?
The biggest difference I noticed between the two of you look almost identical, but he goes with the completely shaved head, where you have the hair flowing out of the back of the hat.
Actually, this is a new thing for me. I'm usually very just shave. I shave it all off. But, I spent a year in Santa Barbara, and this is kind of how I came out with flow. So.
Who would you say, Tyler, has been your biggest influence in the game of baseball?
It'd be a close one between my mom and my dad. But if we're just limiting it to baseball, I'm gonna have to go with my dad. He is. It's crazy to say this, but he is just as involved in my career as I am. You know what I mean? He loves when I do well. He hates when I do bad, but he's always right there. He's always my biggest supporter, and I can honestly say that I wouldn't be here in my career if it weren't for my dad. You put skills, you put talent on anybody, but to have the support of my father is very, very special. He's a very special person in my career to me, and I'm very thankful for everything that he's done for me, because it's gotten me to where I am.
Absolutely, Tyler. Now, if there was A Major League Baseball player that you feel your game most resembles, who would you say that would be?
That's a hard one. I loved how Derek Lee played. He just recently retired, but growing up, I always considered myself a left-handed Derek Lee. His dad, Leon Lee, lives in Sacramento. He's been my mentor since I was very little. I've had a few mentors, but he was
Very cool.
one of the ones, and he did a lot for my swing growing up. And so I always kind of figured like I was going to be the next Derek Lee. And I love how he swings the bat, and I love how he plays first base. And he just takes a lot of pride in everything that he does on the field, and I've always wanted to resemble that.
What about when you were a very young kid? Baseball player you looked up to?
I looked up to my brother.
Yeah?
My brother was a high school star. He went to BYU on scholarship, but I can just remember going to his baseball games at Del Campo High School in Sacramento, and he used to hit just bombs, just absolute rockets. And I'm not a home run hitter, but I always thought I would be just because of him.
You still got time to develop that power. The power
it'll come.
Later.
The power will come. My game's not there yet. But the ball will start carrying out. I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, Scott Service was talking to you guys about a week ago, and he said it's a lot easier to hit home runs in big league ballparks for some reason. So
yeah, that was interesting.
If there was a most memorable moment, both at the plate and in the field for you this summer with the Loggers, what would it be?
That's a tough one because the playoffs haven't come yet. But on the field, it may seem small, but we turned a really, really good double play against Battle Creek at Battle Creek. It was Sykes Orbis at the plate, and I came off the bag, and I didn't know if I was quite going to get to it, and I was able to get a glove on it and get the ball to Bednar, who was actually at shortstop that day, and the pitcher, who I think was Guillen, was covering the bag very well, and it's just one of those plays that you always dream about, but you never really get the opportunity. So that was really exciting, and if I had to narrow my at-bats down to one, I'd probably go with my home run at Lakeshore. I hadn't been scuffling, but I definitely wasn't hitting as well as I was at the beginning of the season, and I was able to get a pitch that I could handle, and it kind of just happened.
Plus, your brother was there to see it.
And my brother was
bomb.
there. My brother was there, which was incredible. I didn't even think about that until after the game. Like, oh, what timing? You know what I mean? I'd rather hit one here for the Copeland Crazies, but it's whatever.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tyler. Appreciate your time here.
Thanks
and
for having
Loggers fans, be sure to tune in to another edition of Meet the Loggers. Thanks for tuning in.